welcome everyone. Good evening. Because we have music, we're so happy that you're with us this evening. And I don't know about you, but it's actually still daylight out. So we've had an amazing day of time change, and so I hope you all have adjusted. We turned all of our clocks, and so hopefully we won't be late for anything. I don't think we're late for this evening. We made it.
We were on time today.
We're on time. So I hope you are enjoying the amazing music, songs written by children with Paul Reisler and Kit Panally. They're just amazing songs that have been recorded with amazing artists for over the past 21 plus years. So we're very excited tonight to have just two amazing performing artists. Their songs have been recorded by so many very well-known people.
Yes.
And you'll find out about who some of those are. But
I'd like to be recorded by Johnny Cash and Waylon Jennings, Linda Ronstadt, Levon Helm. Wow.
The list is long, but we are very happy to have them here and to share them with you tonight. So I'd like to welcome Tom Kimmel. Hey, Tom. Are you with us?
Yes, I am. Am I muted?
No, I hear you.
Okay, good.
I hear you. So, Tom, you have released 7 solo albums, 3 trios, published a book and poems, and toured all across the U.S. and Europe. So, I always ask this question. Tell me, how did you get started in this whole music biz?
Gosh, it was step by step. You know, in high school, a fellow wanted to start a band, and I was the only one who applied to sing. So I got the gig, and the whole thing just got out of hand. I figured out a couple of years after I started singing that maybe it would be cool to write songs, and I just got caught up in it, and I wrote. I wrote over 100 songs before I moved to Nashville, and was very dismayed to find out they just weren't that good.
Oh, no.
But it was a good place to start, and that was a long, long time ago. So,
well, how are you gonna start us off this evening?
Well, I thought I would start out with a song that I wrote with a couple of New York guys, Jeff Franzel and Anthony Nunziata. We wanted to write a pandemic love song. We were talking about how our lives have been upended and changed, and then also how sweet it is to be close to somebody who during a rough time. And that's probably all I need to say. I have not played this song out because I haven't played a live gig since we wrote it, but it's called Nothing's Making Sense to Me But You. What a time to be alive. What a time to be alone. What a time to be alive and be alone together. When everything's in doubt and turning inside out, well, it's hard to find the sun in stormy weather. And no one's saying anything that's gonna get us through. Nothing's making sense to me but you. Not so long ago, it all seemed so clear, when love was easy and the world we knew was still right here. How could it change so fast into a distant past? And are we sure that any love can last forever? And how does anybody know when you've got a clue? Nothing's making sense to me but you. Does everybody with an answer only shooting in the dark? What can anybody say to make this right? All I guess I'm really saying is I've got this empty heart, and all I wanna do is hold you close tonight. What a time to be alive. What a time to be alone. What a time to be alive and be alone together. So will we raise a glass and share a little laugh if the sun comes up one day and this is over? 'Cause now feels like another one, and nothing we can do, nothing's making sense to me but you. Nothing's making sense to me but you.
That's beautiful. Tom, you have got such a beautiful voice.
Thank you.
Wow.
Oh, wow. What a beautiful love song.
Well, it is incredible.
My wife likes it.
Well, she should.
Absolutely.
yeah.
So,
Well-
what inspired you to write that song?
Well, I don't really remember where it got started. Like this Zoom thing, we started doing Zoom and FaceTime get-togethers and talking about songs. I've written a lot of songs with Jeff and half a dozen with Anthony. And I don't know, that line just popped up for me. I was talking about how hard it was trying to adjust, how crazy, what a new world, and not seeing friends and not going anywhere. And I just said, I told my wife, I said, being here with you is the only thing that's making any sense. And it just kind of came out from that. It was a pretty easy song to write once we got going. I took it home for a few days and finished the lyrics. Got my primary role with them, and it was just a joy. It was a joy to work on it.
Well, it was a joy for you to share that with us. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So, Tom, there's another amazing lady who's with us tonight, and that's Miss Georgia Middleman. Hey, Georgia.
Hi there.
Hey.
Good to see you, Cheryl.
It's good to see you too. You were a pop and peep at our last concert. You came in.
I was.
It
I was a pop
great.
and peep. I've never been called that before, but yes, I was.
I don't mean to stick, okay? You don't like it. So, for all the folks who weren't with us last week, and Georgia Middleman, she is just this. Well, first of all, she's just cute and spunky, and not to mention the fact that she's an award-winning Nashville songwriter who has written with, well, you'll be able to share some of the lists, but Kenny Chesney and Reba McEntire and one of my favorites, Kenny Loggins. I've always loved Kenny Loggins.
George is in a
Got a thing
band
there.
with Kenny Loggins. Wow.
Yeah,
And
Blue Sky Riders.
Paul and Georgia have some history.
We've written
Don't
a
go, ooh,
couple
not that
songs.
kind of history,
Not
but-
that kind of history.
They've written songs. They've written songs together too. So I'm hoping that one of those will pop up this evening.
Yeah.
But Georgia, tell us what's been happening lately.
I'm more interested in that history thing. I'm thinking it's not sorted unless you want to think the music business is sorted, because we've got a lot of music business history.
Well,
Oh, I just have to say that first song that Tom just played, it just totally mellowed me out, and I'm so happy I'm here, and I need to hear music, and that kind of music just, oh, it's so beautiful. So anyway, thank you for having me, Paul and Cheryl. This is so fun to be here tonight. Thanks. What did you ask me?
I asked you so. we kind of the introduction.
Something.
So what have you been doing since last Sunday?
Oh man. Okay, so a year ago, I was driving to Cincinnati to do 2 shows. I had a show in Cincinnati and a show in Louisville. Both got canceled on my way there, of course. And because we weren't safe, they didn't feel safe, and I didn't know what to do because I had committed to doing the shows, but I didn't feel safe, so I didn't know. And it all worked out great. So we all went home and we isolated, and it was so funny on the way to that gig. I remember I pulled over, I went in and grabbed a water, and I checked my Facebook, and somebody said, you guys should start artists. We need singer-songwriters right now, and you guys should figure out how to do this online. And I remember driving home, telling my husband, we have to figure out how to go online. I don't know how to do that. But we did a stage it, our first stage it show. We set up for 2 days later, and then we got locked out of stage it because we didn't know our password, and people started buying tickets. And then somebody would kind of help us from stage it. We figured out who to call, and we've been doing 2 live streams a week. That week, I mean, I think we are on our 96th or 97th show this afternoon. We did it. We do Facebook every Sunday, and we do stage it every Wednesday night. So we've been keeping really busy, my husband and I, just writing songs and trying new songs out. Like tonight, I wanted to try some new songs I've never played. It's just so fun to try it out. So we've been busy.
This is your stage.
Yay! Well, should I go ahead and start?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to do a song. I just found this song. I have never sung it. And I found it, and I remember I wrote this with Walt Aldrich about 16 years ago, and I thought, I really like this. I just forgot we had written it, so I wanted to try it out tonight. It's called A Long Walk Home. It goes like this. Daddy says stop squirming in your seat. Keep your hands to yourself or I'll let you off at this street. Mama said don't hit in this car. Leave your brother alone. Yeah, you kids behave. It's a long walk home. Turned 18 and I bolted for school. Loved the whole scene, but I hated all the rules. You know you learn real fast when you're on your own. Yeah, you gotta watch your step. It's a long walk home. Every day we live and learn. We touch the fire, we feel the burn. Every single step we take is guided by our last mistake. Love's a lot like that, you know. You gotta learn it as you go. You make a few false moves, you end up alone. Yeah, and you curse yourself on your long walk home. The fire, we feel the burn. Every single step we take is guided by our last mistake. Next time I fall in love, I'm gonna make it last. Resist every impulse to go too fast, 'cause a car won't run when the engine's blown. Yeah, and when love breaks down, it's a long walk home. Long walk home. Thank you.
Wow. I'm like,
Proud.
I know. You didn't even know we were all out here.
That may have been UN applause. You had to wait for the translation before it came on.
Man, it's rocking. Paul's like tapping me on the knees. You know, I can't move too much because it'll knock something out of whack around here. I have to be real careful. But wow, a long walk home. You better. Wow. You just have so much energy. That's one of the things that I noticed when you performed 2 weeks ago. It's just like, you just kind of have this vibe thing that comes through the screen. And I don't know, it's really hard for me to sit still when I just hear it going, So
Thanks.
I can't speak for everybody else, but I have a feeling our executive director, Jen Jacobson, she was also up and moving around. She and I we kind of get into it. Hey, Jen, you there? Nope. She might have stepped away, but either that or she's dancing down the hallway in her house. But wow. Oh my gosh. I am so excited to hear more songs from Tom and Georgia tonight.
Well, we will. But I guess we have to do one first, huh?
All right. Well, why don't you tell the story about this song?
This is a song called Fearless, and I wrote it with my friend Donna Bukevich. And I think to me it was inspired by my friend Pat Patterson, who I teach with a lot. Pat teaches up at Berklee College of Music, but Pat and I have been teaching together for about the last 25 years, and he has these T-shirts that say "Write Fearlessly," and so this is called Fearless, and we dedicate it to Pat.
And this will help me become fearless about singing with these great singers tonight. All right, Paul, I'm ready. What are you afraid of? There aren't any monsters in the closet. No boogeyman to get you, no ghost in white sheets to say boo. So be fearless, be brave. No one's looking anyway except you. Gotta be fearless, gotta look it in the eye. If you really wanna live, you gotta be willing to die. You might fall down, make a fool of yourself, fall flat on your face, but you can never really fall from grace. Gotta be fearless, fearless, fearless. Gotta be fearless, fearless. Fear can really feed you or shove you right back into its cave. Make you climb a mountain, but don't let it make you its slave. So be fearless, be brave. No one's looking anyway except you. Fear.
Oh, hold it, honey.
Oh,
We
gotta
have-
be fearless. Gotta look it in the eye. If you really wanna live, you gotta be willing to die. You might fall down, make a fool of yourself, fall flat on your face, but you can never really fall from grace. Fear is its own living hell, its heartbreak hotel, an unstable demon that crucifies our dreaming. Gotta be fearless, gotta look it in the eye. If you really wanna live, you gotta be willing to die. You might fall down, take a look at yourself, fall flat on your face, but you can never really fall from grace. You gotta be fearless, fearless, fearless. You gotta be fearless, fearless. You gotta be fearless, fearless, fearless. You gotta be fearless. Be fearless.
All right.
Well, other than missing a chorus, oops,
Oop.
but
Well,
we made up.
yeah, we'll edit it later.
We'll edit it later. Yeah, it's live, folks. It's all live, so there's no mistake about that.
We have someone here from Liverpool, UK, Dawn.
Oh,
And
wonderful.
she says the music is amazing.
Well,
and
we're
that it
awfully glad
is.
you're with us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Dawn.
So I just want to give a shout out to everyone. As you know, even though, things are looking really positive, so many people are now getting vaccinated, and there's hope, there's just a bright light that we all are starting to see at the end of the tunnel. But even though we're walking on that path, a lot of musicians have still been struggling due to the pandemic, COVID, the lack of opportunity to perform. So what we do here on our Sunday night podcast special here, the webcast special, is we offer a tip jar. You'll see it scrolling across your screen. We hope that you will make a donation. Everything is divided and split between the artists that are performing this evening. And it's a wonderful way to say thank you for the amazing music they're performing tonight, and also a way to show that you care. So we hope you will give generously. So we're going to swing back around, Tom. Oh, Tom.
I'm right here.
Okay. So tell us what you're going to do for us.
We've had a crazy weather going on lately. A lot of you know that big cold snap that hit Texas so hard it came right on across. I'm down in South Mississippi now after 36 years in Nashville, and it was crazy down here, and we still have people in Mississippi without water, and it's been weeks, several weeks, because all the pipes froze and burst. But right now we're having this glorious spring weather, and I have a song I wrote about spring with one of my favorite Nashville writers. Wrote quite a few songs with her when I was up there. Lisa Ashman, a very eclectic writer. She's written albums of big band music and Brazilian music and all kinds of stuff. And we wrote this song about spring, and it's called Spring. Hello, remember me? Have I stayed away too long? Aren't you glad to see my face? Looks like old man Winter really made himself at home. Sure made a mess out of this place. It would have been so easy giving up. Heaven knows I couldn't blame you if you tried. Now it's spring, here I am. Won't you come outside to see? The cold amounts to nothing, and the sun on the blade and the leaf, what isn't turning green and reaching up to heaven. I know I promised you I'd turn this gray sky blue. Said I'd bring some longer days. And pretty baby, ain't it true? You're letting light in this dark room and putting flowers in a vase. Now that mockingbird is waking up. Close your eyes and listen, you can hear him sing. Now it's spring, here I am. Won't you come outside to see? The cold amounts to nothing, and the sun on the blade and the leaf, what isn't turning green and reaching up to heaven. Been so easy giving up. Heaven knows I couldn't blame you if you tried. Now it's spring, here I am. Won't you come outside to see? The cold amounts to nothing, and the sun on the blade and the leaf, what isn't turning green and reaching up to heaven. Hello, remember me? Have I stayed away too long?
Wow, Tom, that is a beautiful spring song.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. So you wrote, you've been featured in a number of films and television shows. Share with us a little bit what it's like to write for television.
Well, you take a lot of shots, and most of them miss. That's part of how it works. It has worked for me. I would say for every song I've gotten in a television show or a film, there've probably been 10 or 15 written, to pitch to the film or the TV show that didn't get in. So you have to learn to live with a certain amount of disappointment, and I'm really bad at that. but it, you know, a few have gotten through, and some of the movies have done well, and the shows have been popular, and I'm just, you know, George will tell you. I mean, we're just grateful anytime somebody cares enough to share one of our songs in a big way. You know, it's a gift. So
All right,
I'm
so you're not
grateful.
going to drop any names and tell us one of the shows.
Well, a couple of the movies were really big, and one was a comedy called Twins. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito, and the other one was called Runaway Bride. It was a Julia Roberts and Richard Gere were in that one, and there were some others that did pretty well. Serendipity. It was John Cusack and Kate Beckinsale, and some of the TV shows were popular. Dawson's Creek, Touched by an Angel. Hey, listen, I think, as far as I know, I'm the only person who's ever written a song that was on the Captain Kangaroo show, and a song on Miami Vice. So, you know, yeah.
I think that's
Okay,
Scott
so
Gallagher.
here's the question. As a songwriter, do you get to hang out with all the stars, or
Well, you know, occasionally you get to meet one, but you know, I haven't made like best friends or anything with anybody. It's a joy sometimes to say, "Hey, thank you for recording my song," or you know, I had my song was in your movie. So
that's really awesome. And you know what I love is it just kind of gives folks perspective on how powerful your music can be and how far it can reach, and sometimes the sky's the limit. It makes it there. It gets there for so many people to be able to hear it, and
you know, I love it.
That's a challenge.
I love it when I'm on the road and somebody will say something like, "Oh my gosh, we used that song in my wedding," you know, or something like that, and I know it meant something personal to them, and that's really what touches me the most.
Did anybody say, "I saw you on Captain Kangaroo. I heard you on Captain Kangaroo"?
Some people have said, "I know that song." It was on the show for 4 years, so I mean, a lot of people had a chance to hear it. You know, I was very young, and it was near the end of its run. You know, but it was my first royalty check too, which was really amazing. In, in
always
fact,
good to get
in
that.
fact, when I got my second royalty check, I called the producer to ask if there'd been a mistake. And he said, "No, as long as they keep using the song, you'll keep getting those checks." And I was like, whoa, this could work, you know.
Oh my gosh. Well, I have the same question to ask you, Miss Georgia.
What's that?
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, Carole King and Ringo Starr, like my favorites. What is it like? What is it like to perform with them and to?
It's terrifying and exhilarating. It's you know, it's just you want to please them. That's all I want to do is do my best to support their music and just be really good on stage with them or in the studio. It's so funny because we did a round. My husband Gary Burr, Jim Photoglow, and me. We were doing a round at the Bluebird Cafe here in Nashville, and they had asked Carole King to do it with us. And I was like, "Oh my God, that'd be amazing." And Carol, she said, "I want to do a rehearsal." And so she came over and we rehearsed each other's songs. And all she cared about was learning the harmonies and the piano parts to all of our songs. And we just wanted to please her and she just wanted to please us. And she said, I just want to be one of the cats. Like, that's how she believed. And they all are like that. Ringo, they just want to do their best for all their musicians in the room with them. Kenny Loggins, they just want to like, it's a community thing. It's not about them. And it's just so fun. So we all just want to please each other. And when everyone has that in mind, you do a pretty good show, you know.
I know. I don't know if everyone really understands the significance of the blue. It's called the Bluebird Room, right?
The Bluebird Cafe, yeah.
The Bluebird Cafe. I'm sorry. Share a little bit about. I mean,
Yeah, it's a listening room. It's a legendary room. They started, I want to say 35 years ago. I think it was a cafe with a bar set up, and then the owner was Amy Curlin. Her boyfriend said, "I play guitar. Can I go up and set up right there with?" And he set up and started playing, and people started listening. And Amy Curlin had the idea, maybe that's what this room should be, a listening room for songwriters. And when I moved to Nashville, I came here from San Antonio, Texas, and all I wanted to do was play the Bluebird Cafe. And I remember auditioning because they have all the amateurs, they all want to be on that stage, and I was in that line, and you get a verse and a chorus, and I played my verse and a chorus, and I went back home. I went to my dialysis clinic job where I was an accounts payable clerk, and I waited and waited for that letter, and I got the letter that said, thank you for auditioning, you're not ready yet, but keep working on your chops. And I was so devastated, and I thought, God, I thought I was ready, and I was so brokenhearted about it. And I thought, why did I come to Nashville? Because that was the pinnacle, the Bluebird Cafe, and I wasn't good enough. And then I decided, no, you are good enough. Maybe you're not right for that club, but you should be in Nashville. Keep doing what you're doing. And about a week after I came to that recognition that I can't let other people determine how good or not good I am. It's about what I think. When I came to that recognition, I got a phone call from the Bluebird. And this guy said, is this Georgia Middleman? And I said, yes. And he said, this is so-and-so from the Bluebird. What letter did we send you? And I said, oh, it was a rejection letter. It said, keep working on your chops. And he said, yeah, we had you in the wrong stack. We're so sorry. Can you come play in 9 months?
Oh my gosh.
That was a great lesson because you can't let the world tell you. You have to really have your own personal, what is that called? Your compass. You have to just kind of know yourself, what works for you and what doesn't, because somebody could be having a bad day or put you or in a clerical error, put you in the wrong file, and it could be accidental or it might not be. It doesn't matter. So you just really have to, like Tom said, it's so rare when you get that song through the eye of the needle where it fits just the perfect place in a movie or a TV show or an artist's record. It is so fortuitous. It's so amazing when that happens that all you can do is just be grateful when it does. And every time I wanted to quit, something wonderful happened. And I went, oh, guess I can't quit now because it's so hard, but it's so wonderful when it works.
Well, play something for us.
Okay. I'd like to do a song I really, really love. I've never played this out, but I rolled my piano into the room. I wrote this with Paul Reisler. Paul, what was the name of that retreat that we went to? You did it.
The Virginia Center for the Creative Arts.
That's right. And Paul was kind enough to get me into that. And it's a place where artists, poets, and sculptors and composers, you can work on your craft with no
Interruptions.
thank you. I'm not good with words.
They make you, they cook you 3 meals a day and they clean your room. And
They feed you, they clean your room. All you have to do is create. That's all you have to do.
we created a lot. I used to organize about 6 of us songwriters to all come together there. Beth Nielsen Chapman, Gary Nicholson, you, and a bunch of people. And we wrote, in 2 weeks, we would have written like 24 songs each.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was so great for me. And Paul and I sat down in the studio and we wrote this song. I don't even know what inspired it. Do you remember why we wrote? This is The Trouble with Angels. Do you remember why we wrote this?
No, I don't.
I don't either.
A long time ago.
I sat behind the piano, you sat with your guitar, and this is what came out.
Hey, Georgia, is that mic in the back on?
Yes, it is.
Okay, great.
Can you hear me if I do this?
Yes.
Yep, perfect.
All right, debut. Here we go. And I want to say thank you because a lot of my people are here tonight. I see you on there, and just thank you for showing up. All right. When I got the news about Jenny, I had to pull off the road. She was just 33 with her whole life ahead of her and so much more to go. Pulled over off of Highway 1, laid my head on the steering wheel, and I cried like a baby for the girl I knew and the woman I never will. But that's just the trouble with angels. They leave us a little too soon. That's just the trouble with angels. They bring out what's inside of you. Then their jobs are through. That must be what angels do. Last time I joke. I've been crying about some stupid boy, and she was trying to cheer me up. She always had this "you're gonna be okay" look in her eyes. Right now I wish that she was looking at me, so I know I'd be alright. But that's just the trouble with angels. They lead us a little too soon. That's just the trouble with angels. They bring out what's inside of you, then their jobs are through. That must be what angels do. That's just the trouble with angels. They leave us a little too soon. That's just the trouble with angels. They bring out what's inside of you, then their jobs are through. That must be what angels do.
That's just what angels do.
Yeah.
I
They
love
come
it.
visit and then they're gone.
There you go. And in the chat, it was like, lovely Georgia. And Annie wrote, she is so amazing.
And she is.
That's so sweet.
So, you know, folks are kind of back and forth in the chat. But I want to take an opportunity to thank our dearest, dearest, dearest friends who are always there supporting us, Tracy and John Jackman. They just made a very, very generous donation, as well as my dad and my mom who are watching in Sarasota. But we thank you all for your generous donations.
Yes, and Gail Swift.
And Gail
thank you,
Swift.
Gail.
Absolutely. Thank you. Chip Jar is running all night long. So you had that opportunity to make that donation, and it's so worth it. It's just such a nice way to say thank you to both Georgia and Tom for being with us and sharing their just amazing music. So, you know, Georgia, I'm sitting next to a really great songwriter.
I know.
Yeah.
That's because I have great co-writers. I've had about 70-some thousand co-writers now.
Yes.
And man, it makes it a lot easier to be a great songwriter with 70,000 co-writers, especially when some of them are people like Georgia Middleman. And then you know, 65 or so thousand of them are about 4 feet tall.
So, you know, how long, I guess, Paul, when did you first start with Trapezoid?
Well, back in 1975, I started off as an instrument maker, and my friend Sam Rosetta and I took our 2 apprentices, and we built a family of hammer dulcimers from the bass to soprano, and we thought, oh, well, we'll travel around, do some canoeing and fishing, and play a couple of concerts of hammer dulcimer quartets. Well, that idea went out the window pretty quick. We got a record contract at our very first gig in 1975, and all of a sudden we were touring full time. God knows why. We didn't know what we were doing. But you know, now getting a record contract is, you know, like that's pulling the golden ring, but back then, schlumps like us could get one. And so Trapezoid went for almost 25 years. And that's where I got my start anyway. And I've loved the fact that my entire adult life has been able to do what I love doing, which is music, and especially writing songs.
So tell us a little bit what inspired Marchandi.
Okay, I'm going to play a tune called Marchandi.
And I'm going to pop out of his way so that
Okay.
We get all the good.
And we can get a better shot here. So Marchandi is a tune I wrote when we were trekking in Nepal. You know, while I tell all my songwriting students always have a pad of paper with you and your guitar, I had none of the above. But we were trekking for 2 or 3 weeks, and I had just been studying drumming in South India. And so I was tapping out these rhythms on my thigh, going taka, taka, ta, ta, taka, taka, and so on, for all these complex rhythms you learn when you're studying drumming in India, because you use those syllables to remember them. Excuse me, we were trekking along the wild Marchandi River, which flows out of the Annapurnas from about 26,000 feet down to sea level in a very short period of time. I just wrote this inspired by that river. Thank you.
Good job, honey.
Thanks, honey.
You know, I always love it because during the week, lots of things happen as in preparation for this wonderful Sunday night soiree that we have together. Sound checks and making connections with artists, with Georgia and with Tom, and then practicing. You know, I'll hear Paul playing, and our home is always filled with music, which is such a blessing.
That's the way homes should be.
Yes,
Filled with music.
it is. If it isn't that, it's us working with kids through Kid Pan Alley and writing songs and recording songs, and it's a wonderful life.
It is.
So, don't forget that tip jar. And Tom, we're
Yes.
gonna back around. How you doing over there?
I'm doing very well. I'm just enjoying hearing all of you. It's really nice.
We're enjoying hearing all of you.
Oh, good. Well, tell you what I was thinking about as I was preparing for the show. I was thinking, what are some songs that really speak to the moment for me and for where we are as well, you know? And so each of the songs I've chosen is kind of coming from that place. And this song I wrote with Jenny Yates a long time ago. I had a couple of interesting recordings of it that I really liked. One was by one of my favorite people and favorite musicians and singers, Andrea Zahn, recorded it. She's been in James Taylor's band for a really long time, but she's wonderful on her own, and she arranged a string quartet on two of my albums, and the other was a band from Russia called Bering Strait. Georgia probably remembers them. They were in Nashville for a while, and they made a couple of albums. And they did the most wonderful version of this song, which is it's from an album of mine called Light of Day, and it's called Pages. And I think as far as the story, it'll speak for itself. Yesterday's wars. Let's try that one more time. Yesterday's wars stack up like old papers on the floor, pounding like old knocks upon my door, breaking like the ocean, washing through my hands, changing this old mountain into sand. And you know me by the stories I have made. You know me looking out through boxes and cages, and it's hard to clearly see what's right. In ordinary light, does the truth filter down through the ages? We cannot see the end, so here we must begin. Tell me, what will we write on these pages? This open road, showing only what it wants to show, calling when it's time for us to go, driven by emotion, pushing from the past, running till the spirit's free at last. And you know me by the stories I have made. You know me looking out through boxes and cages, and it's hard to clearly see what's right. In ordinary light, does the truth filter down through the ages? We cannot see the end, so here we must begin. Tell me, what will we write on these pages? Down through history we race across borders into empty space. We write a chapter, a fable, a line, a trace. Another heart may follow. And you know me by the stories I have made. You know me looking out through boxes and cages, and it's hard to clearly see what's right. In ordinary light, does the truth filter down through the ages. We cannot see the end, so here we must begin. Tell me what will we write on these pages?
Whoa! Beautiful!
Yeah.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Oh
Thank
my
you.
gosh, Linda Manning said, Tom, that's one of her favorites.
Oh, wonderful. Hi, Linda.
Yes, and we want to give a big shout out and thank you to Catherine Kidd and Linda and Don Jordan. Thank you so much for your generosity. We try to kind of, recognize everyone for their wonderful gift
Yes.
as
Thank
we go
you.
through the evening. So if we miss you, we apologize, but we will do our very best to try to keep everybody engaged.
You know, and it's been it's so great to have you here, Tom. You know, we've had the other members of the Sherpas here, Tom Prasado Rao and Michael Lilly, and I figured it was about time to have you. And I've been writing with both of them. Tom and I just wrote an amazing song last week together, and Michael's been helping me in Kid Pan Alley, and I think we might do that song that we wrote with Michael
Right.
last week. Fingers crossed.
We just put it together, so.
But you know, the great thing about performing virtually is they can't throw anything at you, so you might as well just go ahead and try it.
Oh, and thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much for your
Yes, thank you
donation
for
as well.
wonderful
All right, we
donations.
swing around again. Hey, Georgia, what you
Hi.
got for us?
I gotta say, I'm so moved by that song.
Oh,
Is that called Pages, Tom?
pages, yeah.
God, it just kills me.
Thank
So
you.
beautiful. How do we get your stuff? TomKimmel.com?
Yep, that's right.
All right, good to
Oh,
know.
put it in the chat. Put it in the chat because
Yes, please.
the great thing is that for a lot of our our community members that are regularly with us, this is such a great way for them to get to know your music and to get to know you. So yes, put all of your contact ways that they can hear more. It's a great-
I was thinking about one of the hardest things in my life is perfectionism. I feel I beat myself up so hard when things don't go the way I think they should go. And I struggle with that a lot. And just to let those things called happy accidents, when something, I loved it when you guys stopped in the middle of your song. It was so human. I'm like, thank you. I loved it. So
we didn't love it at the moment.
I know you didn't because you're probably like me.
No, I always try and purposely mess up so that everyone
you?
else feels comfortable.
Oh gosh.
I don't have to try very hard to do it.
Oh my gosh, I just love it. And I remember I was talking to my friend Maya Sharp. We did this thing. I don't know if Tom, if you did this. There's this castle in France. Miles Copeland would run it. Did you ever do that, Tom?
I never did it, but I had several friends who went. Yeah, I heard about it.
Crazy. It's this castle in the middle of France, and they fly out about 30 writers from all over the world. Some of them, they spoke all different languages. I was in a room with somebody, I don't know if he was French. I can't remember where he was from. Not a clue what he was saying, but somehow he wrote a song. It was so fun. And I met Maya Sharp there, who I adore. And you guys probably know Maya.
Well, I know her dad, who
Oh, Randy.
Randy, who's been with us at DC at the Artist Colony before.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Some nice songs with Randy.
Talented family.
Oh my God, they really are. And Maya was so sweet. We were living on campus, meaning at this castle, but Maya was a regular. She would go to a lot of the different retreats. So she stayed off campus in a hotel somewhere. And I just remember I remember feeling so lonely because I was always shy in high school, and it felt like high school because everybody was just like hanging out, and the Go-Go's were there when I was there. I didn't have anything to say. I didn't know what to say to them. So I just kind of hung to myself. And then Maya would show up, and we'd sit down and talk, and we got along. We were fast friends. And so when we got back to Nashville, she lived in LA, but we started writing together. And she moved to Nashville at some point, and we wrote this song, and we were just talking about perfectionism and how the good stuff is in the imperfect stuff. And she recorded this on her record, and Bonnie Raitt actually sang the bridge with her, which was so cool. This is called Death by Perfection. It goes like this. He shook his head and said, we see a lot of this, but it's still so sad. 'cause it was done at the hands of someone who didn't know what they had. Used to be so innocent and wild, with a light all its own. This tragedy could have been avoided if they just left it alone. But no, they took something beautiful, straightened the curves and they filled in the cracks till it was unrecognizable. They shined it, refined it, until they could see their own reflection. Death by perfection. He said, come here, let me show you what I found. You see these lines, there was a struggle and then a surrender. It's got all of the signs. I said it could have led a revolution, but they kept it in a cage. He smiled as if he was listening, and I initialed the page. Oh, they took something beautiful, straightened the curves and they filled in the cracks till it was unrecognizable. They shined it, refined it, until they could see their own reflection. Death by perfection. I'm flawed and wide open to rejection. Doesn't sound so glamorous, I know, but better that than bend to their perception. 'Cause what I just saw, there's no way to go. Oh, what I just saw, there's no way to go. Oh, they took something beautiful, straightened the curves and they filled in the cracks till it was unrecognizable. They shined it, refined it, until they could see their own reflection. Death by perfection. Oh.
I relate to that song.
Oh, thank you.
Matter of fact, if you see me die during this next one, you'll know it was death by perfection. I think that for everyone out there, I think one of the most humbling things for me is to just hear Georgia, hear Tom, Paul, all of the artists that we've had. There's just this dynamic presence. Whether they're singing something that rocks or whether they're singing something that's more of a ballad or more to make a statement. And what I've always admired is the fact that you find your own voice. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things, being more classically trained and singing in choirs, for me to find a voice as a soloist has been a journey.
You're doing great, Cheryl.
I wish Michael was with us to sing this one because when he does it, it's really beautiful.
Well, this is one what we wrote with the 8th grade at St. Mary's School in Richmond, Virginia, about a month ago, I guess it was, and Michael was assisting me on this one. One of the great things that's happened lately is I've been able to do just as much, if not even more, songwriting with kids in the last year than I did when I was traveling all over the country. And so sitting right here every day, we're working with several classes of kids writing songs. We've been doing a lot lately in Virginia and Colorado. We have Pam Felber out in the audience, who was a teacher we worked with in New Hampshire. And it's been a really, really wonderful thing to feel like you're accomplishing something during these strange times, and especially to accomplish something that I think may be something that the children remember their whole lives.
Well, I'm going to take my headphones off for this because I just kind of need to I need to be in the moment with you, Paul.
Okay, let me check my tuning.
Check your tuning.
So this is called Small Things Make a Difference. And we were talking about how all the things make a difference, especially now that, you know, we've been separated for so long, and how the little things make even a bigger difference now than they ever have before.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
All the things I took for granted, all the things that made me whole.
Yeah, I think we started off wrong there, Cheryl. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
All the things I took for granted.
Yeah. All the things I took for granted, all the things that made me whole, everything that kept me going, everything that filled my soul. In a world that isn't perfect, where right is often wrong, small things make a difference, even after. We're not together.
We're not
dear.
together on this one, honey.
No.
Okay, let's try to. You want to try it again or try something else? That'd be some-
I'm having this whole perfectionist feeling.
but you said the melody's different. You want to do something else?
I don't know.
All the
Let me
things
think.
I took-
Can I have a second to think
Okay.
on it? Yeah, I think let's pass and let's maybe bring up something else.
Okay, what would you like to do?
No, I said let's pass and let's have Tom do another one.
Okay.
All right. Sorry, folks.
All right. That was sounding pretty good to me.
Well,
I was-
no, we were really off.
I was enjoying that.
Maybe we'll bring it back around. But
Well, I was thinking about a couple of different things for my last song, and one way that this is very present for me right now is that if I'm in my studio right now, but if you look at the other side of the door right here, you would see chaos because we're doing a kitchen remodel. So we've knocked out a couple of parts of walls, and it was my wife's idea. I'm really glad that she had the idea, and I know we're going to really enjoy it. But you know, there's that transitional phase of not being so sure about things, and wrote this song in Denmark with a writer, an American writer from L.A. named Brett Perkins, but it could have been written for us right now. It's called "I Love What You've Done with This Place." You pulled back the curtains to let in the light, moved all of my furniture around. You planted a garden and brought it to life where nothing had grown in that ground. You cleaned out the closets and hauled out a mountain of stuff that was taking up space. You know I was nervous, but looking back now, I love what you've done with this place. I love what you've done with this place. With a curious smile and a measuring tape, in only a matter of days, you made us a home served up on a plate. Now looking up Now looking around, I'm amazed. I love what you've done with this place. You opened the windows and painted the door, brought over your table and chair. You pulled back the carpet to show off the floor and handled my worries with care. You told me your story and listened to mine, said this is where our story starts. It goes without saying, then looking back now, I love what you've done with this heart. I love what you've done with this heart. You made something work that had fallen apart, created a real work of art with leftover paint and rusted old parts, and you did it all with such grace. I love what you've done with this place. Sometimes when I can't quite get the picture, I need you to make it clearer. Then I see it plain as day. Yeah, I love what you've done with this place. With a curious smile and a measuring tape, in only a matter of days, you made us a home, served up on a plate. Now looking around, I'm amazed. I love what you've done with this place. Now looking around, I'm amazed. I love what you've done with this place.
Yes.
I love it.
Thank you.
I love what you've done with this song.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Great,
Yes.
Tom. And
So Tom, what's the next big project? What's the next?
Well, I'm finishing a project right now that I'm really excited about. I lived for a little while between Nashville and Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I lived for a little while in Tupelo. I took care of my mother there during the last couple of years of her life. And while I was there, I met an artist. He's quite a well-known visual artist named Keith Francis. And Key and his wife ended up coming to Ireland with me. I take groups over to Ireland in the summertime to show them great Irish music and beautiful places. And afterward, he said, I'd like to do a handmade book based on one of your songs. And I didn't know he made handmade books, but he does these short collector's editions of, where each print is hand done in the book. And he did a book based on a song I wrote with Michael Lilly. It's a Cain and Abel story. And I just finished this week recording the last song for the EP to go with the book. So it's been slow because of the pandemic. But we're going to introduce it in galleries. And I'm really excited about that. It's such a stretch for me. It's outside anything that I've done, And I've recorded the whole EP by myself here in my studio during the pandemic, and I've played all the instruments and sung all the parts, for better or worse. We'll see,
No, I'm sure it's all for better. Well, we look forward to hearing more about that.
Thank you. Thanks for
All right,
asking.
Miss Georgia.
well, okay.
Oh,
Okay, go ahead.
Miss Georgia, are you ready?
Yes. Yes. Now, are you sure you guys don't want to play that song that Paul and I? Okay.
Nope. As a matter of fact, we have a guest that's going to pop in right
Oh,
after.
fantastic.
I think we're cool. All right, you're on, girl.
All right. So, Paul, what was the story with this one? I think this was your idea. We wrote this in Virginia with Pam Rose. Do you remember why we wrote this?
Yes, we were talking, and all three of us had serious mental illness in our families. My late wife Julie's sister, Mary Jo, had been institutionalized for about 35 years with schizophrenia. And you were talking about someone in your family, and Pam was talking about someone in her family. And we started imagining what was it going to be like when we were at their funeral and standing by their bedside, and what were we going to say to them? And this is one of my favorite songs I think I've ever written, because it deals with something that I think is one of the most important things in our world today, which is forgiveness. Forgiveness for ourselves, forgiveness for each other. forgiveness for all that's going on around us.
Love it. Somehow the wind won't even whisper. It's so quiet in this place. Strange, I thought there'd be a lot more. Tears rolling down my face. I didn't mean to wait so long. There are all these things I couldn't say. But what is love if not forgiveness? I guess I'm finding out today. You are my blood, I have your hands, but there's still so much of you I'll never understand. I only pray if there's any grace at all. There's a place where sorrow ends and love begins. Forgiveness. I always thought you could be different. Get it together, straighten up. Mute the voices, change the channel. Anything if you loved me enough. It's so ironic as I stand here, what I wouldn't give to hear your voice. All those times that you weren't there for me, now I know you didn't have a choice. You are my blood, I have your hands, but there's still so much of you I'll never understand. I only pray if there's any grace at all. There's a place where sorrow ends and love begins. Forgiveness. Forgiveness.
It is so beautiful.
No, Georgia, beautiful, beautiful job.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Cheryl.
Well, thank you for,
Thanks for writing that with me.
yeah, that one gives me goosebumps, huge
Yes.
goosebumps.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a guest with us,
Yes.
and we're going to welcome Natalia Zuckerman. Natalia!
Hi, friends.
Hey! I know!
Kind of weeping over here now, so that's cool.
Oh my God.
Georgia, nice to meet you. And wow, the two of you need to, I don't know how many songs you've written together, but whew, thank you for that one. And if anybody wonders about the power of music, there it is.
Exactly. So many of you have probably remember Natalia being with us, and she's just an amazing singer-songwriter, creator, and she's been doing some work with Paul.
Oh, yeah.
Writing songs with kids, and we're just so fortunate that she's here to share this amazing Amazing song.
Yes. Now, I forgot, Georgia. What school did we write this one with? Do you remember?
Yeah, so this was the Maplewood
Maplewood.
fourth graders, Mrs. Sneezeby's class.
Yes, well, Gesundheit.
That's why I chose that one. Like, this
Precious, you know.
is the thing. And these fourth graders, I mean, they just, Paul can light up anybody. And these fourth graders just took to him so quickly and took to us. And these little poets who don't have, you know, a lot of editor yet, and they just took on really the call of climate change, I think, and wrote this gorgeous song called "The Day the Stars Reached the Earth," and it's currently my favorite. It's on a loop. So, is this okay, Ryan? You tell me. I'm doing all
It's
right.
a little loud. A little loud.
You always say that.
Everyone say hi to Ryan. Ryan is the master behind the sound.
Yes.
And we couldn't.
Just kidding. How's that?
That's better.
Yeah. All right, so Maplewood, fourth graders, the day the stars reach the earth. Let me make sure I have the right lyric. I think I do. Okay. The day the stars reach the earth and the broken moon said goodbye. What? First of all, come on. The day the stars reach the earth and the broken moon said goodbye. We all fell asleep and we all saw the sign. We gotta take care of the earth. It's the only one we've got, this big ball of dirt. If we shine like stars and we all made a wish and we keep it in our heart, our lives will be our art. Let the earth be our canvas, the diamond in our sky. Let love show the way, may our light always shine. The day the stars reached the earth and the broken moon said goodbye, we all fell asleep and we all saw the sign. We gotta take care of the earth. It's the only one we've got, this big ball of dirt. If we were like the sun, with fire in our eyes, we'd warm the soul of everyone. Our hearts would beat as one. If we were close to the moon, but we had our own light, we'd be a candle in the night, the one that shines so bright. The day the stars reached the earth and the broken moon said goodbye, we all fell asleep and we all saw the sign. We gotta take care of the earth. It's the only one we've got, this big ball of dirt. The day the stars reached the earth and the broken moon said goodbye. Come on.
No, other
The
folks.
Grammy goes to
The dirt.
Maplewood.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
and that kept popping up in the chat. You know, oh, I love this, the big ball of dirt, and you know, it's them. That's how, you know, the big ball. It's just, I don't know. You just brought out just the
This
amazing.
is so much fun. It's just, you know, the purity of creation, and you get to see it in these little people. So support the amazing work of Kid Pan Alley if you can, if you're watching. I love you guys so much, and it's an honor to get to work with you.
I mean, what an honor for you to be working with them and singing their song. I mean, wow. Totally wow. Oh my gosh, folks. Well, you know, we've had donations from Paul Laughlin, Teresa Rosenberger, Marissa Jackaman, Pam Felber, and Amy. Did you get a last name for Amy?
No, I didn't.
All right, Amy, we know you're out there. The tip jar is still open. We hope that as we go through our last and final round this evening, gosh, it kind of sounds like a prize fight at Madison Square, doesn't it?
I guess. I don't know. I've never been there.
As we swing through our last round, we hope that you will be generous and show your thanks, show your applause, making donations for the artists that performed this evening. So, Tom, we're going to swing back around, and Georgia, you're going to rock us home, girl. All right?
That sounds good.
All right. And thank you, Natalia. Natalia, was your dad watching?
You know, not this time. I barely made it because we just internet.
Have you sung this song for him?
No, but he's such a fan of you all, and I will definitely. I will. He knows I was doing. He just got his second shot, so he feels like ass paper.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, that's how it goes.
Well, awesome.
Nice meeting you guys. Bye.
Dad is one of the world's greatest violinists, Pinchas Zuckerman, and I am an enormous fan.
And he always shows up. He loves these. He loves what you're doing. And he's like, well, all those kids should play the recorder. He gets a little fixated on Carl Orff, and what can I say?
All right, Tom.
Okay, bye.
Thanks, Natalia.
Hey, y'all. So, you know, I said I was thinking about songs that were of the moment, and this is another song I wrote with Jeff Franzel. Jeff is a jazz pianist in New York, and good God, you know, he's a real educated guy. And I grew up listening to the radio and my mother's records, so it's amazing that we've written dozens and dozens of songs. And this is one of my favorites. And I've been saying to my wife, you know, this pandemic has had its silver lining. I know it's been immense suffering for a lot of people, and it's been, I don't know anybody who hasn't struggled with it in some ways. But I've also found some silver linings in it, some continuity at home, for example, and she and I have gotten to know each other better. It's been a really good thing, and that's kind of what this song is about, which is called Silver Lining. You don't have to say a word. I can see how much that hurt. Listen now for what it's worth. Help is on the way. Sometimes when you're in despair, you forget somebody cares. You miss the love that's always there when you feel that way. So if you're down and out, think no one can save you now, baby, let there be no doubt. It's gonna be alright. The world keeps turning, even when the sun is hiding. Somewhere in the world it's shining, even when it seems so far away. Baby, there's a silver lining to everything. And sometimes when you need some help, you can blame it on yourself, till you feel like there's nothing left and nothing's gonna change. So if you're feeling blue, like this time you won't pull through, baby, that's not half the truth. It's gonna be alright. So don't you worry, even when the sun is hiding. Somewhere in the world it's shining, even when it seems so far away. Baby, there's a silver lining to everything. To learn to fly, you risk it all, and baby, how it hurts to fall. You wanna run, but there's another way. Even when the sun is hiding, somewhere in the world it's shining, even when it seems so far away. I know you're feeling broken hearted, but soon you'll see it's where we started. Looking for the love that saved the day. Yeah, yeah. Baby, there's a silver lining to everything.
Oh man, Tom, you kill me.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Music is the silver lining. It's just, oh, wow. I mean, the comments coming in, thanks for a beautiful song. Oh my
And our
gosh.
friend Gail, a silver lining in everything.
Thank y'all for having me and being a part of this. Has been really, really sweet. You know, and I've been away from Nashville for a while. I've got lots of friends there. I got a lot of friends on the road, but I don't get to see them very often. And it's sweet to see this feed coming through and people I know and just to be included with y'all. I think the last time I saw Georgia, we were playing at the Hank Williams Museum in Montgomery, Alabama, about a few years ago. It's good, really good to see and hear you again, and to hear you, Paul, and meet you, Cheryl. And thank you. Just thank you for including me.
Well, you've made a
we're
lot of
delighted.
friends here this evening, and a lot of folks will reach out to follow you and as your journey continues.
Yeah,
on.
we're gonna have to do more stuff together there, Tom. I just love your songwriting.
Thank you. I would love to.
Don't go away, because George is going to bring us home. All
All
right.
right, all right. That was amazing. I second everything Tom said. It's so wonderful to be part of a community like this, people who love music, and every song you guys played, again, my body calmed down, and that's what music does. It relaxes us and brings us back to the ground. And I'm so grateful and very thrilled to be here, you guys. So thank you for including me tonight. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's been a joy.
Thank you. I was trying to think of, go ahead, what were you going to say, Cheryl?
I was going to say, tell us about, I do have one question.
Yeah.
How the song I'm In
Oh, yeah.
by Keith Urban, I mean, you wrote it and
I
Keith
did.
sang it.
Keith Urban sang it, yes.
Took it up the charts.
That was your question. What did you ask about that?
What's that like? I mean, you see someone take your
So
song.
great. It's so great because I was just about ready to quit the music business when I heard Keith Urban recorded that, because I couldn't figure out how to make a living at it. I had deals and things were good and then they were terrible and then they were good again and they were terrible, just like any business. And I was training at Starbucks and I'm like, okay, I'm going to work here, and I got health insurance and it was going to be great. And but I got migraines while I was training at Starbucks. I was getting migraines because I was missing sessions, and I just so wanted to be doing my music. And then I heard Keith Urban recorded it, and I went, well, that could be good. But then even when artists record your songs, it may not make it to the record. They over-record. They record more than they need, and if they don't put your song on a record, you don't make a dime. So once it goes on the record, you have to wait a couple of years. Like they make it for a year. And then and that's good if it makes the record, maybe 2 years. And then they put it out. And if it's a single, it's amazing and it's life-changing. And I remember I was playing guitar for a girlfriend of mine who was auditioning for Capitol Records. And Keith Urban had recorded it. So it was on the record, but it wasn't a single. And he had put out 4 singles. And that was about it. They usually go to the next record and start recording after 4 singles. And so I figured, well, it's not going to be a single, and I wasn't going to really make any money, because if it's on the record, that means my company that signed me makes that money. If it's a single, I would make some money. But otherwise, I have to reimburse my company for everything they paid me with anything that gets made. It's called an advance. So it wasn't going to be a single. And I remember I was playing guitar for my girlfriend. She was singing for the head of Capitol Records. And he stopped before she sang her next song. And he said, oh, Georgia, by the way, this is the president of Capitol. Did you know you have Keith Urban's last single? We're going to record one more, or put out one more song from his last record. You've got his next single. We're going to put out 5 times. And I went, what? Changed my life.
Wow.
Changed my life. And I quit Starbucks. I quit. Because now I can afford to be a songwriter. This is great. But yeah.
Starbucks pays better than being a songwriter.
It does. It does. Very happy. Love my Starbucks. Love it. But long take. I know exactly what to do. I didn't even get to that part in the training at Starbucks. All I know is I've got all this time on my hands to learn how to cook and make things. And I don't know if we'll ever eat out again because we've learned so much here, my husband and I. Did you want me to play? I was going to do something else, but I'll be happy to play that one. Do you want me to end with that?
I like playing.
Whatever you want to play.
Yeah, whatever you think will bring us home.
I want to play this song because Tom's song inspired me. I was thinking about things I need to hear, and this has been so incredibly hard this year, and yet with silver linings all day long. And I wrote this with Gary Burr, my husband, Kenny Loggins, and Richard Marks, and this was on our Blue Sky Riders record, and we got a lot of requests for this, and I know we've got a lot of our Blue Sky Rider people here tonight, so I'm going to send this out to them and to all of you. And again, thank you so much for having me. This is called Little Victories. Friday night alone and calling everyone you know. You're reaching for the cigarettes you gave up long ago. You wanna go get drunk somewhere, turn it off and just not care for a little while. You're running over what went wrong for the 100th time today. You wonder if another thought will ever take its place. You're feeling like you're trapped inside your own bad dream, one that's never gonna end. But here's the funny thing, my friend, you feel like you're gonna die, but you don't. You think that the world will stop, but it won't. And it's the darndest thing I know. The sun comes up, it's another day, and your heart still beats, and you say, hey, I'm still breathing. Take it from me, these little victories are all a heart needs. Photographs you tore in half and scattered on the floor. Letters where he swore his love mean nothing anymore. You can't imagine how to get from here to there, but one day you'll know where to start. See, that's the power of the heart. You feel like you're gonna die, but you don't. You think that the world will stop, but it won't. And it's the darndest thing I know. The sun comes up, it's another day, and your heart still beats, and you say, hey, I'm still breathing. Take it from me, these little victories are all a heart needs. The dog still barks and your shower's hot, and you burn your hand on the coffee pot. So like it or not, gotta say, hey, I'm still breathing. Take it from me, these little victories are all a heart needs. Thank you.
Georgia.
Thank you.
You all have touched people's hearts all night long tonight.
That's all our heart needs.
That's right. People are going, yes, awesome. And Ashley said I needed this one this weekend. You know?
Well, we are so grateful to Tom and Georgia and Natalia for singing with us tonight, and for all of you who have come. And, you know, I'd like to ask you all, if you've been enjoying these concerts, how about everyone brings a friend next time?
Yeah.
You know, friends don't let friends miss incredible music. And this is indeed incredible music that we're having. And we've got a wonderful show next 2 weeks from now on the 28th. And I'll put a little screen up about that. And it's going to feature, here's the screen, Molly O'Brien, who's a Grammy winner and is the sister of Tim O'Brien, one of the more incredible bluegrass musicians. And this is Molly singing right now with her husband Rich Moore. Also Bill Lloyd from Foster and Lloyd, who I love. I've worked with Bill on our Kid Pan Alley Nashville album, and he had a great band in the 80s called Foster and Lloyd. And then Cheryl and I will